tonight I'm going to be playing a program of largely Spanish music, not entirely, but largely. And between this week's program and next week's program, I'm going to be exploring the cross-pollination that occurred between Spain and the Spanish colonies in Latin America. Next week's going to focus mostly on Latin America, and this week is called The Spanish Influence. The first piece I'm going to play is a piece that has things that are maybe stereotypically sounding like Spanish music. It is a piece called Aires Ibericos, or Iberian Airs, the Iberian Peninsula being the place where Spain is. It was not written by a Spaniard, but rather by a Frenchman named Alain Lefebure. And what he's tried to do is capture, I think, like the essence of what Spanish music is. And so he has a couple of things that he uses, techniques that he uses to sort of bring that out. One thing is a rhythm that I think will sound pretty familiar, that we think of it as a flamenco rhythm, potentially with castanets, and that's this rhythm that goes yun da da dun 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 da yun da da dun 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 dun, and you'll hear that throughout the piece. And the other is something that's a little bit more subtle, and it's a little hard to find in this piece, but it's a harmonic progression that's known as the Andalusian cadence or Andalusian mode, and it consists of something that sounds like this. So that is a chord progression that underpins this piece. It's one of the harmonic motives that Mr. Lefebure uses to capture the essence of the beauty of Spanish music. He wrote this piece for a Spanish cellist whose name is Georgina Sanchez Torres. She's a very passionate player, and I think this captures very well the essence of Spain. So this is, you can tell I don't speak Spanish because I hesitate every time I say this word. Aires Ibericos by Alain Lefebure. next, we're going to go to the Basque country for a dance that was written by, or a piece that was written about a dance, by a composer named Javier Jacinto, who is from the Basque area. He's from Donostia. And this is called, in Basque, Ezpata Dantza. Spanish is Danza de Espadas. English is sword dance. And after the live stream, not now, but after the live stream, I invite you to go look up a Basque sword dance on the internet. It's completely beautiful and was not exactly what I was expecting, because I was thinking a sword dance was going to be kind of swashbuckling or something that seemed potentially violent, and the piece itself is kind of aggressive maybe, and I was very surprised to see this Basque sword dance, which is like ballet. And I think it was pointed out that fencing is very much like ballet, and this is swords that are more like fencing kinds of ideas, of incredibly graceful movements, fluttery feet. The men who are dancing this dance wear kind of a ballet slipper, and high kicks, many leaps and high kicks into the air. It's quite beautiful. And what the composer has done is include also a dance called the torzico, and in fact he writes in here tempo di torzico. That's the speed and the kind of flavor of a torzico. So the torzico dance is a dance that has a meter of 5, and you will hear this as it happens in the piece. It sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the torzico part of the dance. So he's kind of combined both the idea of the sword dance and the torzico dance into this piece. When they do both of these dances, it's accompanied by this sort of wonderful one-person band. There's a Basque flute, which just kind of looks like a recorder, very, very high and light, that you finger down at the bottom of it. You can play it with one hand while the other hand plays this little drum. It's quite adorable. This music is not representing that. This music is representing the kind of the spirit of the dance at the same time that it uses some of the rhythms. Another thing that you will note, and this is going to be something that we see in several of the pieces this week and next week, is what many consider sort of the Latin rhythm pattern of alternating 3s and 2s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you may hear that happening when I'm not playing the torzico. I may be playing that. This is Ezpata Dantza by Javier Jacinto. And that part at the end, that's an unpitched note. It says as high as possible. And I think that's the final kick up in the air of the leg. The next piece I'm going to play comes from a suite, the second Spanish suite by a composer named Rogelio, Huguet, y Tagell. He's basically a romantic area composer. He lived into the 1950s, but he writes in a very 19th century style. This is a piece called Zapateado, and this is a really good example of cross-pollination between Latin America and Spain, because the Zapateado is thought to have probably originated with a confluence of countries like Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela. And in fact, in Mexico today, they still dance the Zapateado. They dance it in clubs. I saw a video online of this lovely person giving dance lessons, basically, about if you're in a club, don't just go stomping your feet around. You need to know how to dance this dance. So zapato in Spanish is shoe, and the zapateado is about what the feet do. Often in like performance demonstration kind of versions of the dance, they'll put the dancer up on a table so you can really see their feet. Some people call it Spanish tap dancing, but it's not really. It's really very, very, I mean, I guess it sort of has rhythmic things with the heels hammering, and it's quite wonderful. There is documentation from 1850 that in Spain, from Cadiz, a dancer brought this form of dance really into the forefront in Spain, and then it eventually became incorporated into the flamenco. So that footwork that you see in flamenco, that is zapateado. And one thing you'll notice about this is it's in a triple meter the whole time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So that is a continuing pattern through the whole piece. I do want to read you a poem, or at least paraphrase a poem that the composer wrote to go along with this movement. He wrote, a girl is on a table hammering out a dance that shows her lively spirit. And I think the hammering part in this piece happens in the middle. There's two sections, it happens twice, where it gets a little punchy and repeating kind of some patterns. You will maybe notice it, and I believe that's the hammering on the table part, because the rest of the piece is very relaxed and easygoing and doesn't sound like feet stomping. So you listen and see if you can hear the hammers. This is Zapateado by Rogelio, Huguet, y Tagell. So now that we're gonna move to maybe my favorite piece on the program. And this is the one that doesn't actually have very much to do with Spain, but that's okay. It's a wonderful piece. This is a piece that was written very recently by the American composer, Indian-American composer, Nina Shekhar, who is a young woman who is, I believe, doing a doctorate degree at Princeton University right now. She is a wonderful composer and has really gotten a lot of acclaim and a lot of wonderful, you will hear this name again, Nina Shekhar. I guarantee you, she is an up-and-coming composer here in our country. And this piece is called Cajon, which is a Spanish word meaning a drum from Peru. You may have seen this drum. It's the box that you sit on, that one sits on, and hits in different places, and it makes different sounds. So this is another really great example of cross-pollination between Spain and Latin America. Probably a couple hundred years ago, as Spain is sending ships back and forth to the colonies, so to Peru in this case, and using African slaves that they have brought over from Africa and indigenous Peruvian people that they have enslaved, unfortunately, to do the work of unloading the ships and working on the docks. This drum came into being probably because when they were unloading maybe like fruit out of a big crate, the crate is empty, they start playing drums on it. And so then this is very much thought to be the African slaves that brought their drumming culture with them to the New World. And then actually in recent decades, the cajon as an instrument has been taken back to Spain to go into the flamenco music. So they're now using the cajon as part of flamenco music. So getting the circle coming full circle. What am I saying? I'm sorry, slightly lost my train of thought here. So in this piece, the cajon is a drum, and what Nina Shekhar has done is she has turned the cello into the drum. And I'm not going to show you the different techniques because you're going to hear them. It's going to be really clear when I'm doing a drum and when I'm doing not a drum. The one thing that I will mention is that over here I have a stomping board, which I have gotten for today because there's carpet in this studio. And so I just want to point out that you probably heard the stomping on the table in the Zapateado. And so this is the second stomping piece in a row. Look, I found another connection with the program. Okay, so this is Cajon by Nina Shekhar. messed up because I hit my pedal twice. Okay, sorry. Okay, I think the cello stopped ringing. My heart's still beating pretty fast. So that just pointed out my little problems here, which is I'm using an iPad pedal to turn my pages, and I've practiced really hard to not stomp and accidentally turn, and that's what happened in that one place. And then when I tried to fix it, I turned it again. So I got very off. Sorry about that. But still working out the stomping and the pedaling together. Okay, I've got one more piece on this program. And this is one that, again, brings in a lot of things that sound very, very much like Spanish music that we've heard before. And in fact, you have very possibly heard the song that this is based on. This is a Fantasia on El Paño Fino by Salvador Martinez. It is from Murcia, which is in the southern part of Spain, part of Andalusia. And the famous composer Manuel de Falla set this particular song as his first of 7 Spanish folk songs that he set for voice and guitar or piano. That set of songs was also turned into the Suite Popular Español for cello and piano, and the first movement of that suite for cello is based on the same song as this Fantasia is. The Fantasia uses, again, that Andalusian mode, and you're gonna really notice it here because the composer uses it as block chords. He uses that kind of thing a lot, where he's using these walking chords. So you'll definitely notice this Andalusian cadence idea. Another thing you're gonna notice constantly through this piece is the alternating 3s and 2s. And you'll hear it right at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that very ubiquitous Latin rhythm combination. This piece was written in 2006. And this is the Fantasia. Oh, I want to read you the words that the folk song is, the original folk song. And that is, the fine cloth in the shop got stained. It will be sold at a cheaper price because it has lost its value. Which seems a little bit trite, maybe, for a song. But it is a metaphor about things that get stained and lose their value, like a woman's virtue, for instance. So it has a sadness on it, and I think you will see that through this piece. And I want to make sure I tune after I slam on my cello. Hang on. Thanks for listening in. Come back next week to hear music from Latin America. Thank you.